Okay, just a reminder for our friends who are new today that there will be a guided meditation to start the meeting, which is followed by Q&A. So you will be muted. I think you're all muted for the first part of this meeting. Please make sure to unmute yourself later on as you wish. So just for now, turn your attention inwardly. Sit comfortably and simply be as you are. Nothing you need to do. Simply be. Notice the breath. And the vastness, the silence. The stillness. Which is at the heart of your experience right now. Doing nothing. In fact, there is no doer. In being, is just being. The peace of being. And as this peace, we are one. Indivisible. fruit of the same tree. In this moment of being, there is no separation. A borderless, aware presence. Which hears these words. And perceives the sensation of the feet on the ground. Effortlessly. A thought may appear. A sensation may appear. That which perceives the thought or the sensation. Neither appears nor disappears. Remains as it is. Formless. Undeniable. The undeniability of consciousness, of awareness. we sink deeper and deeper in this peaceful presence. That is not seeking anything. That is not defining itself in any way. And yet, nothing is without it. Life lives itself in our absence. What we truly are is this absence, which is also presence. Life flows harmoniously in the recognition of this absent presence, present absence. Which knows no separation, no separate to this, separate from that. This presence is not personal. In religious terms, we speak of this presence as God's presence, universal presence. So life is universal life, living itself via infinite body minds and via infinite other forms. One reality manifesting itself as everything and everyone while remaining nothing and no one. And you are this everythingness and nothingness. As this impersonal everythingness and nothingness, life flows. In all directions and in no direction. But as soon as you separate yourself from this everythingness and nothingness, and imagine yourself to be something, someone, you are no longer the flow. You are the dam, damming the river in the way of the flow. The world, the body, and the mind then appear to you as objects and obstacles, and full of conflict. And you, as an imaginary separate self, become so troubled with so many problems to solve. But there is only one problem, which is the impression of separation. Believing yourself to be a man or a woman, somebody. Imagining yourself to be a mother, a daughter, a son, a father, a body-mind, a particular entity, a separate organism. You yearn for the return to the wholeness, while simultaneously you hold on tight to your identity, the illusory belief that you are mortal, body-mind. The core of your struggles is your resistance to the flow via your belief, which you maintain moment by moment to be somebody, while in fact you are nobody and everybody. As consciousness, as awareness, the reality which hears these words right now, not the instrument, but the reality which perceives. If you are interested in living fully and totally and wholly, contemplate this understanding. The understanding about your reality, the reality of consciousness. Which is absolute and impersonal. Okay, so if you have any questions, make sure you unmute yourself. Anything that you would like to explore.
Hi, I'd like to ask a question anew with you all.
Yes, hello, Angel.
Hi, thank you.
Yes.
I know the truth of the fact that we're not the body, mind, or emotions, we experience them. And as I stay in that oneness versus the duality of separation, it feels that there's so much joy that I experience. I get myself in trouble when I look to connect with others. It's not really a searching, but it's more of an exploring. But if they're caught up in their stories or their drama, their negativities, the separation from the truth, I can catch and feel my separation becoming about. And then I start feeling all this discomfort And so I have to nurture it back up. I'm what is called an ultra sensitive. I guess it's like being heaven on earth or being in the world and not of it. I just was curious to see if others experience that and if there's more of an optimistic way of bringing it about, or is it just about accepting and just using more discernment along the way?
Yes. So discomfort includes within it a resistance. In other words, well, there is, of course, physical discomfort, and you can do something about it. You adjust your posture, or you go for a walk, or whatever. The psychological discomfort appears to you as a sensation that you don't like, or something you don't like, right?
Yeah, there's a subtle judgment and I catch it and I hold it in love. And at that point, it's like somebody that's been on a diet and doesn't want to see cake anymore.
Yes. Well, but noticing the judgment, that, the resistance or the judgment in itself, noticing the judgment, there is intelligence in noticing the judgment, no?
Oh yeah, I'm fully aware of it. And I don't judge the person. I can catch the judgment of the discomfort. And so I immediately hold it in love. But it takes away the joy of the connection with the person, because the stories and the victimization is no longer a truth that I choose to participate or entertain in.
Okay, that's fine.
So that's the discernment. So I end up isolating myself until I can find or discover others that choose the same truth.
Okay, well, if we are unhappy in certain relationships or in certain connections, then it makes sense for us not to nurture these types of connections. And if we need to take some time off from such relationships or such connections, we do, until we are in relationships or in conversations that are happy. It all sounds very natural.
Yeah, I love being in nature and I love my connection with source. It's very simple. There's no complexity of personality.
Yes.
I just would love to find others that choose to know that the universe is a joyful, loving universe. It's not a suffering one. Our lessons are part of Earth School, but the suffering is optional. And after all the years of going through the lessons and suffering, I've come to the realization that I don't have to suffer. I can become wise by staying in that connection. And that's where I catch myself not fixing or correcting or judging the person, just feeling that discomfort and wanting to move beyond it. Yes. So anyway,
we can experience discomfort in a few ways. One of the ways in which we experience discomfort or unhappiness, let's say, is via the me structure, via the ego, via believing that things are personal, and via the belief in being a personal self. So that's the one of the aspects of suffering, of ignorance, of suffering.
Right.
The other aspect of, I wouldn't say suffering, let's say unpleasant situations, is where we, because of our transparency and because of our mirroring neurons, where we pick up from the environment the unhappiness that's around us. So we can experience the situations, conversations, relationships where we sort of sense via our empathy the other's sense of alienation, the sense of separation, their unhappiness. But that is not our own. It's quite different from believing that I'm a separate consciousness or a mortal body-mind. Because it is not on our own, it flows through us, except if we do identify ourselves with it, which we don't need to. So we can experience certain darkness, around us. It flows through us. It comes through us.
I'm sorry, I have to give this to somebody.
Okay.
So sorry, that was UPS.
Okay.
I didn't knock on the door, so please forgive me.
Yes, I understand.
Thank you.
So the main point to understand is that peace and happiness do not necessarily mean a peaceful body or a peaceful life or a peaceful mind.
Yes.
There can be unhappiness in the body. There can be some sickness or some discomfort in the body. There can be in the world all sorts of events. There could be within the mind certain preoccupations that are of a sort of a phenomenal realm. But psychologically,
Well, what you said earlier, and that was when they knocked on the door, which I thought was such a brilliant comment, if I can interject, is when I was caught up in the ego and there was all that suffering, that's when the sadness kicked in. And so when I was listening to someone else's stories and the sadness, I could feel that ego getting back active.
mm-hmm.
And there was that almost like identifying with something that no longer felt right to me. And that's where that judgment or that discomfort came in. So by nurturing that, maybe that will help to bring it to a different place. Instead of identifying with it, I could separate even more from it and not contribute even in the silence of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can also, ask yourself, like, who is it that is identifying? I mean, conscious.
It's the illusion.
Yes.
I know the answer to that. It's
right.
An illusion. It's a program that's identifying with it. It's not my truth.
Yes. So when you perceive that, you are perceiving.
And rising above that illusion and not giving it power.
Exactly. So you can always return to awareness.
Yes.
I mean, It's one thing to nurture, but still, when you're nurturing, when you're embracing, there is still the personal self. There is somebody who's nurturing or embracing, which I understand. I'm not talking, I'm not opposing that approach, but I'm pointing to a different approach, which is to simply notice the noticing, that you're viewing.
So become more of an observer, because there is a subtle participating if I'm becoming discomfort around it. So Absolutely. Rise above that and become more of an observer. That's a brilliant comment.
Yes, because
so don't get in it, just become the observer of it.
Yes, you are sensing it, you're noticing a sensation, you're noticing a perception, you're observing, you are the aware space, you are the awareness. So as awareness, there is no Velcro, there is no holding, no retention. It's just like right now, it's awareness is. So to sort of return to awareness that in fact you're viewing, and you can also be aware of whenever you are taking the position of, you know, being somebody, of being a person, meaning certain forms of attachments, where you're defining yourself in some ways. Things should be this way. I should not feel that. The world should be this way. She should not be like that. He should be this way.
Yeah, that's the judgment.
Yeah, whenever you're engaging in that sort of mechanism, you are going to experience some sort of unhappy sensations, emotions within your body mind.
Exactly.
But what is available to you, that is sort of a quantum jump, rather than working in the field. Is what is available to you is awareness.
You know, what's really interesting is majority of some of the areas I have been doing a lot of awareness. This is the one area that has a trigger. And I love that you're all just being very conscious of silence while I'm having this conversation. I just really, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for letting me ask the question and having dialogue around it, so that I can take it to a different level of awareness. Sure. It's almost like I become a little bit of a victim around it. And instead of doing that, it's just immediately shift into the observer, which will help me avoid the comforting and all those things, which seems to be an extra step. But if I shift it immediately to observing what I'm going through, then I'm not in it. I'm kind of above it in some ways. So I'm definitely going to play with that one. Yes. I like that. Yeah, it's definitely, because then it allows me to again, I'm still going to use discernment, obviously, but it gives me the opportunity to not so-called run from things so much a little bit, and be more present with the power behind it. Yes, you know, your core experience across the board is awareness. This is the primordial, if not the only reality of your experience, is awareness. The screen of awareness, that which perceives whatever that is, you know, the awareness is your reality. So keep your attention, meaning awareness being attentive to itself, reality being aware of itself, because reality is awareness. There is within being, there is awareness. Awareness and being are one. So you right now are aware, in every moment of your life, you are aware, not you, the angel, not you, the body mind. You, awareness, is aware. So this is your absolute reality. So you know, you move away from your reality when you become angel, or you become whatever you become. You don't need to move away from your reality. Actually, you can never move away from your reality as awareness. Wherever, even when you are assuming yourself to be angel, in fact, you are awareness assuming itself to be angel. Your reality is awareness. Just remain with that which is real in your experience, and that which is real in your experience is not something which appears or disappears. It is not something that you perceive. That which is real in your experience is I awareness. Yes, it's formless. This was wonderful. Thank you. Okay, Angel. Thank you very much. Okay. Any questions?
Hola Magdi.
Hola, Emanuel, ¿cómo está?
¿Todo bien?
Bien, tranquilo.
Qué bueno. Do you hear me well?
Yes, very well, I do.
Okay. So I really didn't have like some specific question. I just
was feeling this desire to share some words with you and try to deepen in my direct experience and understanding somehow.
Yeah.
But I like to share this. Yesterday I was in my formal space for meditation that I take in the mornings.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly, out of nowhere, this kind of understanding popped up, like, I am without name, or I really don't have a name. But it was very profound. And I noticed that, and it was like, oh, this is very interesting. And I really tried to go deep into that. How it feels like to really know that I, whatever or whoever I am, is without a name. And what is left is just, I don't know, some kind of silent emptiness or something like that. And since that moment yesterday, I've been experiencing like this urgency to know who I am, beyond words and beyond the non-dual kind of clear understanding that I have, and beyond the some deep insights that I've experienced. But I don't know, it's like this, what could it be more important than knowing who I am,
If
I don't know.
Say, okay, so you had the experience, let's say, let me use these words, of being without a name, right? That's what you said, without a name. Yes?
Yes.
So, and this experience of being without a name, it was not just an idea that you had, it was an experience that you had, which means it's an insight. It's an insight into your true nature, that that consciousness has no name. Has no name. And then you say you were wondering what it is like. You wanted to go deeper into this to know what it's like to be without a name. Well, the experience of consciousness, which is without a name, is just this experience right now. This is what it's like. It's like this right now. It's just like this. Just like this. You see. And when you say, I would like to know what I am, what is it that wants to know what you are? In a way, you are what you are. You are what you are. How could you not know what you are. You who could ever know what you are? You know what you are. I know I am, because I is not just this blank presence, like a rock, sitting on the side of the road. No, the I is awareness. Awareness means it knows. So within I knows itself. You already know what you are. You know what you are. You don't need to look. You look for what you are, because when you look for what you are, there is no answer. Every answer that you get about what you are is what you are not. If the answer is I am Emmanuel, that's what you are not. Or I am a man, that's what you are not. I am spirit, that's what you are not. I am Buddha, no, that's what you are not. Any answer that comes about what you are is what you are not. Because what you are is not something that you can point to. What you are, you are. You are what you are, which is what it is right now. What is it right now that you are? What is it right now? And every moment, every now, the now of yesterday, the now of tomorrow, what is it? How about this now, right now? What is it this now, right now, that you are? Is it not consciousness? Is it not awareness? Already there. Effortlessly hearing these words. Effortlessly perceiving this perception. Effortlessly knowing I am. So when we have an insight into consciousness, insight that you refer to as, I had an understanding that I have no name. It was a profound understanding. That understanding is not an understanding that comes from the mind. It comes from consciousness. When you go looking for this understanding again, you go looking for it in the mind. You go looking for it in thoughts, in memories, in feelings, in mind states. You go looking for it in the mind. But you will not find in the mind that which does not arise from the mind. In the mind, you will only find thoughts, sensations, perceptions, memories, images, feelings, objects. But you will not find in the mind that which you are. You will not find consciousness or a glimpse into consciousness in the mind. You only find a glimpse into consciousness in consciousness itself, in awareness itself. So the question is, how do you go to awareness?
How do what?
How do you go to awareness? In this moment, are you not aware? What is it that perceives right now? Just to be silent and quiet and still, and notice that which notices. To notice the noticer. It's not an object. That's the thing, it's not an object. It's easy for us to notice a table, a chair, the sky, the birds, the lake. But noticing the noticer is a different type of noticing. It is a non-phenomenal noticing, a non-conceptual noticing. It is a noumenal noticing. There's a reality to your experience right now. And this reality is yourself.
Maybe this question or this desire that I was expressing now, that to know who I am, is not about to have a mental answer or something like that, but...
No, I understand, but
Yeah,
Yes.
but it's like, for example,
in the question, in your desire about who you are, all you need to do is not to take on who you are not. In other words, do not add on to, do not add on, I am this or I am that. So I know I am, yes, and I don't know what I am, yes.
Mhm.
That is sufficient. You, as soon as you go to, oh, I know what I am somebody living in Costa Rica, I am blah, blah, blah. That is the stick in the wheel, you know, the stick in the wheel. So to know what you are means not to know what you are not. Do not engage in knowing what you are not. So it's more of a shedding, a non-doing rather than a doing. And in the non-doing, you are not assuming anything about consciousness, because to assume consciousness is this or that, it's a form of doing. It's an activity, a mind activity. When you assume that consciousness is improving, or this consciousness is whatever way you define it, you say. So you cannot define a reality. But reality can define itself as this or that and identify itself with a form. And in identifying itself with a form, then it forgets what it is. It says, wait a minute, am I this form or that form? Or am I all forms, or am I, you see? So in the download that I am somebody existing in time and space, I am a particular consciousness that is dependent on the body mind. That is a belief. So the glimpse is the glimpse into the understanding that this belief is not has no ground to stand on, no feet to stand on. That there is no valid position that supports the belief that consciousness is personal and limited. It's a belief. Because whatever is limited in your experience is an observable. What you observe, the observable, is limited. But the fact that the observable is limited does not mean that the reality which observes is limited. So there are two different levels. There is a level of the observable, which is the phenomenal realm, and the level of the reality which observes, which perceives, which is the noumenal realm. And according to your experience, you are that which perceives. And that which perceives is not an observable. It's not a form that you can describe or that you can give a label to it or a color to it or a size to it or a shape to it. You can improve an object, you can improve something that you perceive, you can improve your garden, you can improve your car, you can improve, your body, you can improve your house, you can improve your city, your town, your village. Because it is phenomenal, it is observable. But improvement does not apply to the reality that you are, the reality of consciousness. And so in terms of knowing yourself is whenever you stop knowing yourself as something else, you stop knowing yourself as something in the absence of knowing yourself as something or as somebody, in that complete absence. Consciousness knows itself. And so in your experience, as a metaphor, we say between thoughts, because you have many thoughts. Between thoughts, there is no thought. But although between thoughts there are no thoughts, you don't cease to exist. You are this. You are present both in the presence of thoughts as well as between thoughts, meaning as well as in the absence of thoughts. But this presence that you are in the presence of thoughts as well as in the absence of thoughts is not an observable, is not something that you can observe. But although it is not something you can observe, it is I that perceives. It is that same awareness that I am. So you're looking for what you are, and the answer to that is stop imagining yourself to be somebody. Or understand that imagining yourself to be somebody is just a falsehood. It's a game that you're engaging in that you don't need to engage in. Why? Why you don't need to engage in it? You don't need to engage in it because you just told me you would like to know what you are, because you are interested in stopping the game. So stop it.
Yeah, because also the other aspect of this is there is no joy, no enjoyment, or no celebration.
Yeah. Celebration is only in consciousness, only in reality. There is no celebration in. You can only celebrate life from celebration itself. You cannot celebrate life from life.
Mm.
You can celebrate life from celebration itself, not from life. Celebration doesn't come from life. You celebrate life, but you don't get celebration from life. You follow?
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
We are funny, aren't we funny? We are funny. We are really something. We like to play. Everything that you are doing, you're doing because you like it. At some level, you like it.
But it's very weird, like.
Well, go figure. We like the complex, the paradox. Yes, because no one is forcing us. We play the victim. We play, oh my God, oh, my mother.
The traffic.
The traffic, the world. Why me? We love it. It's fascinating. Once you start to get a sense of that, you start to see how people really love their stories. They love their suffering. You tell somebody you love your suffering, they're going to punch you in the face. You cannot tell them that.
Yeah, well,
you have to tell them, oh, I'm so sorry. I know what you mean. You cannot tell them you like it. That's why no, you cannot say that. Here in this group, you can say it, but not outside of.
Okay.
Yeah, take a look. Yeah, take a look. All is well.
Okay.
All is well. Absolutely. God is not in the suffering business.
Thank you.
Okay, Manuel. Any questions?
Magdi, I have just a comment for something you inspired to me.
Yes, Joe.
Sorry, my son is asking why I muted the TV, his TV.
Oh, okay.
Apologies. No, it's not that. My question. Before the awakening, I used to love suffering. And now I love my suffering. Too subtle of a difference, maybe. But for me, the suffering now is like as if I'm going the wrong way with the car. So it's the wrong way.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I'm thankful the sign is there. I'm not thankful I'm going the wrong way.
Yes.
It is as it is, but I'm thankful for the sign.
Yes, absolutely. We are all very grateful for the challenges that life gives us, because in the challenges they invite us to become free from the patterns that we still are continuing without noticing. Yes, life helps us, and we become more and more grateful, not just grateful for the happy things that happen to us, but grateful for everything that happens to us, including the challenges, maybe even more the challenges. Francis often says that, use these opportunities as yogas. These are your yogas to free yourself from the remaining impressions of separation. We have to do our work, we do that work, and we do it lovingly. And yes, absolutely.
Oh, one more thing that came to me, it's over the past month, is being descending upon me little by little, as if whenever I ask a question, I know that I'm inquiring about something, who is inquiring something beyond what is immediately available here and now? Who is going somewhere else to get some information from beyond what is right now fully available? So maybe the only question is the one that takes me within, like when you say,
Yes.
who is asking?
Yes, yes, there are impersonal questions. There are questions that come to us, they come through us from beyond, from the source. And these are impersonal questions. And then there are questions with a personal interest. Now, the questions about the personal, where they come from a personal interest, they relate to the person, they maintain the sense of separation. So then it makes sense to ask yourself, who is asking, but there are questions that come through you where it's a flow, and they're not the idea of who is asking doesn't even come to you. You just feel, because you're feeling the peace, you're feeling this question is coming from beyond you, it's coming through you. Yeah. So this is really beautiful. Yes, this distinction, this discrimination is very crucial, because the all activities that have behind them the me, the personal self, or the personal goal, are activities that go against the flow. Where are you, George? Where do you live?
I'm in Brooklyn.
Oh, in Brooklyn, New York.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
And I intended to attend 2 more of your satsangs, your meditations.
Yes.
It just last minute I couldn't find the Zoom link.
Oh, okay. Yes. Wonderful.
Yes, and today a friend shared it with me.
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, hello, that's sweet. Hey, hi.
No, he's here just for me to change the channel.
Yes. Okay, George. Nice talking with you. Yes.
Thank you for the meditation. It's a constant meditation.
Yes, beautiful.
And the questions too. Thank you, Angel and Emmanuel, for your questions.
Yes, beautiful. Yes, it is.
Thank you.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay.
Magdi, one more comment. Again, I don't mean to monopolize. Just came to me right now, sincerely. Could it be, unless the question takes us within, the question is separation? Because it separates us from the what is to what we are looking to get to acquire information.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Sometimes there are questions that seem to be genuine questions about consciousness. But they are they have a personal intention in them. And they don't bring the understanding. They don't lead to the understanding. So in a way, a genuine question is like a no question. It's not a question. So a question that has in it the genuine interest. It has a love in it, love for truth, a passion for truth, an interest in truth. That question doesn't belong to a person. That question is impersonal. It's a universal question. Which is God playing with herself. In a way, it is said that it's a long journey home. On the other hand, we are home already. But all the questions that have an interest in truth in them are very, very lovely questions. They belong to all of us. We've spoken sometimes through a particular body mind, but they belong to all of us. And we enjoy them. We enjoy the question and the exploration. See, we're always doing what we love. We just have to be clear about what is it that we love. Be clear. But what is it that you truly love? You can enjoy so many things in life, but you can only love one. And that is not a thing. Okay, well, very, very lovely to be with you all. Thank you for your presence and your passion, Fernando, Olga, Indran, George, and George, Marcel, Frank, Emmanuel, Jenny, Malcolm, Vanessa, Esther, and Joe.
Thank you.
Margot.
Thank you, Magdi.
Karim, and Zoe. Thank you all.
Thank you, Magdi.
Lovely to see you. Lovely to be with you.
Beautiful.